Chapter 12, Paying the Price. Well, it was all good to talk about unraveling strings there with Mr. Hartley as they walked along. But the next day in school was the worst that Travis had ever spent. His first period class was the worst, English. Right down the hall was the principal's office, and the classroom door had not been shut when he saw Mr. Higgins shoving his way down the hall and through the mass of hurrying students. The principal's door had not been shut, and they could all hear the man's angry voice as he addressed his grievances to the principal. "Now see here, Truax, this is going too far. The little boyish mischief, and the boy is not allowed to play in his last game. I will not stand for it." Now, Mr. Higgins," they heard Mr. Truax's soothing voice, and then Miss Glover closed the door. Elizabeth giggled over in her seat across the aisle, and Travis looked her straight in the eye to let her know that this was not funny. There were some things in the world that she evidently did not know or care about. Well, after the first period, the rest of the day just went right downhill. In second class, Sam would not look at him or anyone else. He just sat at his desk, no move to turn a page. And Todd, who always had a hard time in algebra, made no effort at all to complete a simple quiz of 5 questions that the teacher handed out. He turned in his paper with only his name scratched across the top. At lunch, all the football teams always sat together, jostling each other, throwing bread at each other, squirting ketchup at each other. But today they didn't sit together. They went apart and sat by people they didn't know, as if to insulate themselves from each other. But the worst was yet to come. At football practice, Mr. Higgins come on the field red-faced. "Now see here, Tompkins, I won't have this. You sitting up there in your high and mighty ruse saying a kid can't play ball all because he was having a little fun." "Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Higgins, but rules are rules, and that is what we play by on this field. It's against the rules for players to drink liquor or smoke pot as long as they're in training. You know that." "Well, they were not on the field or on the school property, and you have no authority beyond that." Mr. Higgins' eyes bulged and showed his temples. "Rules of training apply anywhere, Mr. Higgins. No drinking, no smoking. If we do not enforce those rules, no rules of the games would apply. No rules, no game, just chaos." "Well, you think you get on this high horse with the real athletes will tumbles, but these are just kids." "Because these are just kids, Mr. Higgins. That is why it is so important that we teach them to play by the rules, on the field and off the field." "Well, have it your way this time, Tompkins, but don't forget who signs the contracts around here in this district," Mr. Higgins toning. "I won't forget that, Mr. Higgins. And if you will excuse me, I have some kids to coach, which I will do to the best of my ability as long as my contract lasts." Well, they played as best they could for their last game, but it was no good. Todd and Sam and Randy and the rest of the good players were sitting on the bench, and even the cheerleaders seemed to have lost their spirit as they shook their pom-poms in the chilly winds. Art did the best he could on Travis's left, but Sam was not there on his right, and the substitute could not do it at all. Travis got tackled every time he got the ball and couldn't move it. One time he came down so hard, his helmet got knocked off, his chin strap got into his nose and broke the cartilage. His nose began to bleed, then swell, and his head was spinning. And somehow that last blow unleashed a fury in Travis that brought all of his frustration to the next play. When he got his hands on the football, he clutched it, rammed through the goal line like a charging bull. He lay there holding the ball for a minute, knowing it was their last play. They had been defeated, 18-6, but they had not been scoreless. The team had paid the price, but they had played the game by the rules. Travis was the last one out of the dressing room, His whole body ached. His nose was so sore and swollen he could hardly bear the weight of his T-shirt on it. He was just tying his shoes when he heard the coaches talking outside. "Well, Tompkins, I guess that's it for you." "Yes, that's it, for the year, and maybe for me, too." "Oh, they'll hire you back. They need a good man like you." "Well, they're not looking for good men, just winners at any price." "Well, you won, Tompkins. You won. You proved your point with Higgins." "It's not Higgins I'm worried about. It's the kids. Did I win my point with the kids?" "You won, Tompkins. You may never see it, but you won. You won big." Travis walked out of the field house across the end of the field and looked up at the deserted stands. A little while ago the bleachers had rocked when the crowd cheered as he lay there with the ball in his hands in their only score of the game. Now in the bleachers there were only a few paper cups and one long pom-pom blowing in the wind. And he was tired and sore, and there was nobody at all anywhere near. When he left the stadium and started along the sidewalk, Travis heard footsteps behind him. So he walked a little faster, and the footsteps fastened also. So he slowed down, and then whoever was behind him slowed down. Then the person behind came along beside him and fell into step with him. "Hi, Travis." "Hi, Sam." "Hi, Sam. What you doing?" "I just wanted to tell you, Travis, you played a good game." "Well, I could have done better." "I wanted to let you know I'm sorry I wasn't there to help you." Travis stopped in his tracks and faced his friend and looked him straight in the eye. "You helped me, Sam. More than you will ever know. You helped me." Sam's solemn face broke into a grin, and simultaneously they gave each other the thumbs-up signal, touched their knuckles, then turned away as both boys made their way home.